Hi everyone. So today we're going to continue our work with using standard English. Today's focus is in avoiding text speak, slang, and profanity in your writing. So today, instead of teaching you to do something, I'm going to encourage you not to do something. All right. Always use standard English on your assignments. Remember, everything you do for school, there are a couple of exceptions every now and then, maybe creative writing or sometimes journaling or something. But 99% of the time, things you turn in for school should be written in formal standard English. So this means we don't use text speak, we don't use slang, and we don't use profanity. So let's look at what these three are and highlight a few things about them. So first is text speak. So these are the kinds of things where if you're texting or maybe even if you're emailing someone really informally, just a buddy and it's just a quick little note, you might use these things. And that's fine. Everything has sort of a time and a place when it's perfectly fine to use. But in school and at work and in other cases, if you're contacting your boss, right? Things like that. You're going to want to use standard formal English. So you're going to avoid text speak. So what do I mean? These are a few examples. There's a lot of other things, of course, but these are kind of the big ones that I see most often. I see cause and cause, right? Cause, C-U-Z, and then this word cause, C-A-U-S-E, which is actually a word, but it does not mean because. So instead of cause or cause, you should just use because. All right? So use this, not this. It's just there is no word C-U-Z. You could text it, that's fine, but don't turn your schoolwork in with it. I see gonna often. So don't use gonna, instead spell it out. It's not really that much longer to say going to, right? I see kinda, and that usually means kind of. The thing is, I put a little asterisk next to the kind of down here. This is very informal, and it's not always appropriate. Kind of. When you say I'm kind of tired, we hear it so often we think that it's correct grammar, but it's really not. It's really very, very, very informal to say kind of something, to mean a little bit. It really doesn't mean that. It's very, very, very old slang that's been around for so long that now we've just started to accept it as proper English, or we kind of think of it as proper standard English. It's not. Um, 9 times out of 10, no one's going to call you on it. But if you really, if something's really important to you and you really want to sound like you are with it and you want to sound knowledgeable and intelligent and you want people to really take your message seriously, I would avoid kind of. It's just doesn't mean what you think it means. It literally means kind of, a type of, like a kind of pie is apple and another kind of pie is cherry. It doesn't mean a little bit. So, but kind of is still far better than kinda. So don't use kinda. Trying to, I'm trying to do this, trying to do this. Just put trying to, trying to. You can see these. You, the letter U instead of Y-O-U, you are instead of your, like, and I've seen it replace both of these. So just spell out the word, and then using the number for the word for, and of course we could add lots of things to this, but this is the kind of thing I'm talking about when I say text speak. It really has no place in formal standard English, which means it has no place in your writing for schoolwork. Certainly not in English class where the focus is using the English language correctly, but even, I would say in any of your classes. If you're writing for science or social studies or any other class, avoid using text speak. The other thing I would say is avoid using slang. So sometimes we are spelling words out completely, but we use slang terms or figures of speech that are just, what the kids are saying these days kind of thing. We all do this. There's several problems with it. We do it and we shouldn't, and you should try to avoid it. I've caught myself doing it too and had to go back in and change it. Sometimes we use slang so regularly in our speech and in our everyday life that it just finds its way into our writing. It just sneaks right in there. So why not? Why not use slang? What's so bad about it, right? Well, I would say a couple of things. First, your audience might not understand the slang that you're using, and then your message is lost. They're not, whatever it is you were trying to communicate to that person is not being communicated because they couldn't understand what you meant when you used slang or really informal figures of speech or things like that. So you want, the whole point of writing something is so that someone else can read it and understand what you're saying. And if you're using slang they don't understand, then your message is lost. Another reason to avoid slang is that your audience may not take you seriously. They might look at that and think that, oh, this is just some punk kid. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That may not be true. You might be very intelligent. You might have a very good idea that you're trying to express, but some people are going to not take you seriously if you're using slang. Now, you might say, well, that's on them then. That's their problem. That's not my problem. But if it's an important message that you really want to get across, then it kind of is your problem, right? If you're not an effective communicator. So avoid slang so that people will take you more seriously. And then also, it's possible that you could offend your audience. Some slang, even if you don't mean it to be, is offensive. So they could be offended, and you never know what someone else is going to find offensive. So even if you find it perfectly fine, someone else might be offended, so just avoid it. And also, lastly here, avoid profanity. So swearing, right? You're not going to swear in your stuff for school. And even things that aren't really swear words, but they're just still not very nice words, like if you said something was crappy, right? That's not really a swear word, but it is, I guess, a slang word, right? You'd leave it, so leave it out. It's not standard English. It doesn't sound nice. It doesn't sound smart, right? Just don't use it. So avoid profanity and even those almost profanities, right? Those almost swear words. And you'll see the reasons here are exactly the same reasons as avoiding slang. Your audience might not understand the profanity. This is less likely to happen. I think most of us understand naughty words, right? But you never know. Someone might not understand what you mean when you're using that swear words and stuff. So also, they might not take you seriously. A lot of people have the opinion that if you can't think of a better word than a swear word, you might not be very smart. Again, that might not be true, but people might have that opinion. And so when they read your message, they're not going to take it seriously. And especially if you're asking for something, if you're requesting something, you're not going to get what you want. Right? If you're trying to convince someone of something, you're trying to persuade them, you're not going to change their mind, right? If you're insulting them, offending them, if the message is lost because they don't understand what you're saying because you've used slang, or they're offended because you've used profanity. So here, this is the big one with profanity. I would say this is the number one reason not to use it is you're going to offend someone. You may not be offended by one of what we call like the smaller swear words. Somebody else might be. And the big ones, I can guarantee you, people are going to be offended. So again, the whole point of writing is that you have something to say, and what you have to say, it has value, it's important. You want people to hear it, understand it, and take it seriously. And so because of that, you want to avoid text speak, slang, and profanity. All right, if you have any questions, please Google Meet with me, and have a great day.